Imagine this: every smartphone you've ever held, every pair of shoes you've worn, where we uncover the hidden forces that shape our interconnected planet. Today we'll be diving deep into how China transformed from a minor player to the absolute ruler of the seas, controlling the very arteries through which global commerce flows. This story will change how you see every product around you, and nearly every product in your home has traveled thousands of miles across vast oceans to reach you. What might surprise you is that more than half of the colossal ships carrying these goods were constructed in Chinese shipyards. By the 1970s, Japan had emerged as the new maritime powerhouse, followed by South Korea in the 1980s. This transition reflected broader economic transformations as the U.S. economy shifted from manufacturing-based industries to service sectors, with manufacturing employment shrinking to just 8% of the total workforce by recent years. In 2024, Chinese shipyards were responsible for constructing an incredible 70 to 75% of all vessels currently under construction worldwide. To put this in perspective, the foundation was already firmly established through extensive heavy manufacturing capabilities, highlighting how far American maritime manufacturing has fallen from its former glory. Currently, approximately 21% of U.S. trade relies on Chinese-built vessels. The Trump administration has implemented dramatic measures to revive American shipbuilding capabilities through the Restoring America's Maritime Dominance Executive Order, signed in April 2025. The centerpiece involves imposing substantial fees on Chinese-built, owned or operated ships docking in U.S. ports, with penalties reaching up to $1.5 million per vessel visit. When you control both the ships and the containers, you effectively control the packaging and transportation of international commerce. It represents a strategic masterstroke that has made China virtually indispensable to the global economy. Patient investment and systematic industrial policy can completely reshape entire global industries. As we've explored, this transformation extends far beyond merely building ships. It's about controlling the infrastructure that enables modern global commerce. The American response through tariffs and industrial policy represents a fascinating case study in how nations attempt to reclaim lost economic ground. Regardless of rising geopolitical tensions between major powers, the countries that control the seas increasingly control the flow of global commerce. We'd love to hear your perspective on this fascinating transformation in the comments below, making this struggle a defining battleground in the evolving competition between major powers for economic and strategic supremacy. These levies would apply not just to Chinese vessels, but to any shipping company with Chinese ships in their fleet, demonstrating the deep dependency that has developed over decades. Industry experts warn of potentially serious consequences. The proposed tariffs could create far-reaching ripple effects beyond immediate cost increases. The World Documentaries family for more deep dives into the hidden forces shaping our world. Share your experiences and insights. Your voice matters in understanding these global shifts that affect us all. Until next time, keep exploring the interconnected world around you, potentially triggering what some economists call a trade apocalypse. Ships might reorganize their routing patterns, making fewer stops at U.S. ports and forcing greater reliance on road and rail transportation between coastal hubs, fundamentally altering how goods reach American consumers. The fundamental challenge lies in shipbuilding's capital-intensive nature, which requires massive infrastructure investments. The argument centers on whether the United States can afford to depend on Chinese-built vessels for moving goods critical to national commerce and security. This concern reflects broader tensions about supply chain vulnerabilities and strategic dependencies that have become central to contemporary international relations. Highly skilled workforces and sustained financial commitment. Transitioning from minimal production to full-scale commercial shipbuilding represents an enormous leap that would require substantial taxpayer-funded subsidies for an industry struggling to achieve profitability against established Asian competitors. Beijing's strategic 10th five-year plan specifically identified ports and shipbuilding as priority sectors, providing focused governmental support for systematic industry development. This coordinated approach demonstrates how strategic vision, patient investment, and systematic industrial policy can completely reshape entire global industries. A skilled yet cost-effective labor force, and most crucially, a government committed to providing substantial long-term subsidies. A container ship built in China costs approximately $55 million, while a comparable American-built vessel would require around $330 million, a price difference of nearly 600%. This enormous gap explains why between 2020 and 2022, China had over 4,000 large ocean-going ships on order, while the United States had merely 12. Between 2010 and 2018 alone, Chinese government support for shipbuilding totaled an extraordinary $132 billion, not including additional benefits like low-interest loans and debt forgiveness. One single Chinese state-owned shipbuilder produces more commercial vessels by tonnage in just 1 year than the entire United States shipbuilding industry has created since World War II ended nearly 8 decades ago. This is just a remarkable business achievement. It represents one of the most significant shifts in global economic power of our lifetime. In 1999, China accounted for less than 5% of global ship production. A minor footnote in maritime manufacturing. Fast forward to today, and Chinese facilities produce an astounding 95% of all shipping containers, those ubiquitous metal boxes that carry everything from electronics to clothing across our oceans, creating an integrated ecosystem of maritime control. Welcome to the World Documentaries. The staggering scale of China's maritime empire, the numbers behind China's maritime dominance are nothing short of breathtaking. This transformation happened with lightning speed that defies conventional economic wisdom. From warriors to waves, America's lost maritime legacy, the irony of China's current supremacy becomes particularly striking when we examine America's maritime heritage. During World War II, the United States stood as the undisputed champion of shipbuilding, constructing thousands of Liberty ships that served as lifelines for Allied forces battling Nazi Germany. These vessels weren't merely transportation, they were the backbone of victory, demonstrating how maritime control can determine the fate of nations. However, the post-war decades witnessed a gradual but steady erosion of American shipbuilding dominance. The perfect storm. China's strategic maritime revolution. China's shipbuilding success stems from a unique convergence of factors that created ideal conditions for maritime dominance. China's accession to the World Trade Organization in the early 2000s unleashed unprecedented economic growth, generating massive domestic demand for shipping capacity. The economics of maritime domination. The economic disparity between Chinese and American shipbuilding reveals the staggering magnitude of the challenge facing any revival effort. In 2024, the United States built just 0.1% of the world's commercial ships. Trump's maritime counterstrike, a bold response recognizing this strategic vulnerability. While these measures aim to generate revenue for domestic shipbuilding subsidies, the global chess game, beyond ships and economics. This maritime struggle transcends pure economic considerations. It is fundamentally about national security and geopolitical influence in an increasingly interconnected world. China's comprehensive control over the complete maritime ecosystem creates a powerful multiplier effect that amplifies their influence over global trade. Navigating uncharted waters. The future of maritime power. The story of China's maritime ascendancy reveals how strategic vision, whether these ambitious efforts will succeed, remains uncertain. But they highlight the critical importance of maritime power in our interconnected world. What are your thoughts on this maritime revolution? Has China's dominance over shipbuilding changed how you view global trade and the products you use daily? Do you not forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to join